let's talk about a super ego in Victor Osimhen. Now, is always in the story. Is the transfer window is open again, even though it's going to close briefly for the World Cup, but it's going to open back again.
But why is it closing? Just let it go.
Just let it go. I don't know why it's going to close, but I mean that's what it is. It's going to close for the Club World Cup and then reopen after the some point in June as well. But Victor Osimhen is the talk of social media, especially with Nigerians involved, because he's a Nigerian, and I mean he's a marksman, our top striker. Yeah. Recently, he turned down a big money move to Al Hilal after the Saudi club.
Christ.
They've been waiting and waiting. They made like 3 to 4 offers, and they were waiting for his final decision, even after agreeing, the fee with Napoli. But he turned it down eventually. Now, the whole talk of this transfer was why are there no top European clubs jostling for the signature of Victor Osimhen? I mean, what is done with Napoli? What is done with Turkey? I mean, while you are talking about this, I might branch into some subtopics regarding this whole Osimhen saga. But why is it that no clubs are jostling for Osimhen's signature? Why is it just Saudi Arabia in the picture? Talks have been coming up to say his wage demands and all that, but irrespective of his wage demands, what's gone wrong with your Osimhen transfer saga?
Irrespective of his wage demand, though. At the center of every transfer is the wage demand of the players. That's why when you hear conversation have started before in my day, back in the day, like 20, 15 years ago, players don't even get involved in this thing. A club needs a player, a club goes to the other club and they discuss. Once they agree, the parent club tells the player, we have agreed the deal for you. You are going. No. It doesn't matter whether you like it. Let me give you a very good example. Go and read Anne Wright's book. People praise Wenger. That guy is a brutal witch. But as Wenger signed Anelka, the 1998 World Cup happened in France. Anne Wright went to that World Cup. When England was knocked out, Arsene Wenger went to Anne Wright and told him, we have agreed a deal with West Ham. They didn't give him a chance for him to make his choice, to decide which club he wants to play for. They just told him, we've agreed a deal with West Ham. Now, guess what? The room, they invited him to come and see Arsene Wenger at David Dean. The next room, West Ham was there. So they planned this thing, took Anne Wright by surprise. Without his knowledge, without his age, nobody getting involved. And then once they finish, say, go to the next room. There are people there waiting to talk to you. And that's not just him. That's how football deals used to work.
At the end of the day, you have to accept the transfer.
Yes, you've seen players come out. I mean, we see podcasts now where players said he was playing for Nigel Clough or Brian Clough also. That gave him a blank contract to sign and told him, if you don't sign it in 5 days, I will send you to Burnley. Yeah, that's how football used to be. Did you not hear the story where Ryan Giggs, after playing 25 games, he said he wants to buy a car, and what Sir Alex Ferguson did?
Yeah.
Why did Sir Alex Ferguson and David Beckham quarrel, his favorite son? Because he chose to marry a girl by the name of Spice. Sir Alex Ferguson always said that marriage will not work. That's the marriage that have lasted the most. That's the marriage that have lasted the most. And that woman, marrying that woman is the best thing that happened to Beckham, because that woman comes from a family that understood business. But Sir Alex Ferguson has his own ideas. That this boy is going to be derailed because of Spice Girls, blah, blah, blah. So the thing, what am I saying is that what transfer used to be back in the day is not what it is now. So let's settle with now. Today, when you look at Osimhen, there is not one person that can fault his football ability. Yeah, he might not be a master dribbler, a dazzler. Who cares about his Lewandowski a dribbler? Is Benzema a dribbler? The guys who score goals, Alan cannot dribble to save his life. But he's got a power hit. He can head the ball. He can, contortion his body and put an acrobatic ball as tall as he is into the net. He should be playing basketball, but he's playing football. But guess what? What is the difference between Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Morata, Haaland, all these other guys, Benjamin Sesko, Vitor Gyökeres, and Osimhen? Is the agency that they have. Listen. It was Magic Johnson that said it, not me. So Magic Johnson said as his career began to grow, he was called and told, you can't have $1 billion talent and be surrounded by tens of thousands dollar people. Because these guys do not know the language, the terminologies to use in the rooms where people are talking billions of dollars. So when you give them $10 million, which is robbing you, they will jump at it. So as you grow, you have to change. Your agent does not need to be your errand boy, your guy who arrange babes for you, who arrange private jet for you to go and meet babes. No, your agent is the guy who sees and sniff business opportunity 10 steps ahead of it even happening. Who sees that, oh, there's a tech business that is coming, oh, you should invest in it. Look at Cristiano Ronaldo. He's taking over Valencia now. I don't think that there's any Nigerian player that is that bold. When did he make that move? Made that move a long time ago when he sold 40% of his image right to the owner of Valencia. The club is dying. The stadium is rubbish. But Cristiano Ronaldo is taking over Valencia. He's going to be the next owner of Valencia. I'm just giving you that as an example. And look at the deal. When David Beckham moved to MLS, everybody said it was stupid. But we did not read the undertone, the undercurrent of his contract. That contract is what has made him more money outside of football after retirement than he made when he was playing. So let's talk about Osimhen. If you think that if Osimhen had an agent like Finizavi or George Mendes or Mino Raiola, God bless his soul, when he was alive, you think that anybody will be talking about Osimhen and Saudi Arabia? You've been mentioning Osimhen and Real Madrid, Barcelona, Juventus, Chelsea, even Arsenal. That needs a striker. That will be the center of the conversation. Man City, they will convince them that, look, Haaland didn't play well. Haaland is a player who needs other people to play well before he can play. You need a player like Osimhen who can, create something out of nothing. That kind of thing. That conversation will be on the ground. But if you see Osimhen, everybody is talking about, this one is not even on Osimhen. Like, he doesn't have a good, it's on him because he didn't sign up with a good agency, right? So that's the first mistake. Then secondly, Nigerian players are too much in a hurry to put everything on social media or give some of their friends who don't know anything. You're giving information to somebody who is earning less than 500k every month. You see, this league, this level where you are now is a level where the people who should be putting that word for you should be on your level. When Cristiano Ronaldo wants to talk about Manchester United, where did he go? Piers Morgan. Sat down with Piers Morgan. Put out what he put out. Nobody can call Piers Morgan's boss to shut it down. There are certain interviews you will do, they'll call your boss to shut it down. You understand? Yeah. So, when the transfer window happened, looking at everything that has happened before now, you went to Galatasaray, you succeeded, put to shame whatever the Napolitanians thought about you, and I'm never going to blame Napoli for anything. Napoli invested 80 million euros in a Nigerian player at the time they did. Yes, he won them the league, but when he started claiming that it was the one that single-handedly won it, Napoli have gone on to win it again 2 years after without him, even selling Farastella halfway through the season, bringing in reject like McTominay and the rest, and they won the league. They won the league against fierce competition in Inter Milan and the rest. The point here is that he should have done his own side very well. I don't know what the transfer will be, but before this conversation ends, my announcer has gone somewhere else. But I said this before, that if I was Osimhen's team, based on all things being equal, what he currently have, I would say, listen, nobody's going to pay you 400,000 gross, 250 net. Nobody's going to pay that right now. And before people watch this and say, but they are paying Haaland that, what was the first salary he got?
Exactly, because that's the talk of what people, they look at paycheck of other strikers at other clubs. They are looking at the final
paycheck currently. They are not looking at the starting point. So because Osimhen is 27 now, right? Now this is a conversation in the boardroom, whether you like it or not. Whether people, he's a Nigerian, you're not. No. What are they saying? What the suits? The guys wearing suit and tie. The guys in the boardroom. What are they saying? His numbers are good. On the field is excellent. But at Napoli, how many jerseys of Osimhen did they sell? The mask, that is his trademark, how much of them did they sell that is of the club? Because Napoli own his image right. How much did they make from it? Was the Osimhen business a profitable business or a loss business? That's one. Galatasaray does not have his image right. So whatever he does there still goes back to Napoli. How much have Galatasaray sold in terms of jersey? Because that's the one that they will benefit from the number 45 jersey that he wears. How much of it have they sold? What is the record? Because if you look, since the mention of Benjamin Sesko, you've seen videos on YouTube by Team Benjamin Sesko showing you his characteristics, what he brings to the game. It was the videos that made everybody know that, oh, your currency is good, but he cannot score with his head. In the Premier League, where they cross the ball a lot, is going to be a disadvantage for you. That's how this team died. If it was a black man, people would have shouted racism. And then everybody said, the conversation started pairing towards, Andre Bata like Gyökeres, Arteta like Benjamin Sesko. All of a sudden, the two of them now like Benjamin Sesko. The Gyökeres conversation have died down. What's my point with that is that those are the things that his media boys are supposed to do for him, but they are not doing.
So probably if Osimhen has had a better team around him, would have known if he maybe sold enough.
Chelsea or anybody.
We're talking about Chelsea and Napoli, Max. We might have known.
Yeah,
okay, this was the amount.
Let me also point out something that people are overlooking. He's 27. If you sign him on a 5-year contract, based on what is currently existing in the business of football, 5 years from now he will be 32. There's no resale value for him. And then if you look at what he's asking, 400,000 a week gross. If you put it in a 5 years contract plus bonus and everything, the total package, the transfer fee to Napoli with between 75 and 80 million, everything put together would arrive at 400 million. Is Osimhen worth 400 million in a 5 years deal right now? That's really the question to ask. When somebody tell me that, but look at what Mo Salah is earning. When did they sign Mo Salah? About 10 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. When they signed him, when they first signed Mo Salah, he was earning 70,000. Now he's grown up to this. There's no transfer fee, no big bonuses, everything arrive here. But you're going to pay all this one and put bonuses, and in a 5 years time you put 300 million. Let's look at clubs where those kind of deals have destroyed. One was Manchester United. They were beginning to regroup. They made the mistake of signing Alexis Sanchez and gave him that contract of £500,000 a week. And every other person who was playing, who just won the Europa with them, like this guy that came from Arsenal because they won the FA Cup. That's how they destroyed that team. And then they had to rebuild again. They're still rebuilding till now. The effect of that one. There is Sadio Mane, left Liverpool, went to Bayern on the 400,000 gross. What happened? He destroyed the team. Not Sadio Mane destroying the team, but everybody in the dressing room was like, hey, who the hell is this guy coming here? We've been winning back to back. In this stretch, we've also won Champions League. This guy is the guy that you want to pay this money. Oh yeah, now make him play the ball. That's how footballers behave. I've been there and I know. Let him come and play the ball. What did we see? It destroyed Bayern Munich. So people have now reversed. Back in the day, 2 years ago, all the transfer was 110, 105, 115, 120. What do we see now? Caicedo, Declan Rice, all those guys. But now we're seeing 56, 60, 70, 75. Highest 80. So the price is coming down. If I was Osimhen, I would bring down my price, my salary.
So you are in that school of thought that he should bring down his wage demands?
Yeah, but
are you saying he's inflating his worth?
Yes,
because this is what he feels his worth. What he feels he should be paid, £400,000, based on what he's done in the last couple of seasons.
A good agent will make him get that money, but he will get it in a different way. If he brings down his salary, for instance, and then puts performance-based clauses that he can confidently earn, he will still make that money, but he will make it in such a way that it's not a burden on the club. Again, what's the use of signing a player and you go bankrupt, by the way? What's the use of signing a player, you lose your dressing room, you can't pay your bills anymore? What's the use? Well, there's no use. So I think that he could find another way around it. They say there are so many ways to skin a rat. Osimhen, I repeat, is not a bad player, but Osimhen is also not the superstar that a lot of people think he is. That's just the truth. If we want to spread this conversation and be as objective as we can, every European, and I was having this, I'm not going to mention his name now, his name is going to be withheld in this conversation. I was having a conversation with a very popular former player, and he said to me that, listen, I'm a Nigerian like you, my brother. Every European in the corridors where I walk, and he walks with the big heads, says that, what is the guarantee that Osimhen is 27? What is the guarantee that this is not his last rodeo? Who's going to give him 5 years when probably he's 30, 32 in his real age? And then he comes in and then he's like another Eden Hazard that Real Madrid signed. Who's going to bear the burden of all of that? If you give him a 5 years contract and he's not performing, you can't terminate. You want to terminate, you give him the full sum of his contract. Okay? Not everybody's name that will say, okay, don't pay me. I didn't perform for you. Okay, don't pay me. No. When Real Madrid terminated Hazard, they gave him all his money, right? So you have to also consider all of that. And then it comes from a country where there's not much disposable income. I think I was having that conversation with Colin Odo. There's not much. How many Nigerians will buy Osimhen merchandise in Nigeria? Will order? I'm not talking of knockdown, the one from Thailand or Timo. I'm talking from the club store. How many? Adidas, Nike is our national team sponsor. They don't sell our jersey in Nigeria because they know nobody will buy. Nobody will buy. You will go and buy from National Stadium Sports. You go and buy from Zenith Sports that they cut and sew themselves. That's the truth. So all of this at the business side, you also have to consider. When you put all that together, you will know. But like I say, the window is still long. If he's bold enough to turn down Al Hilal, it means that there are conversations that are going on that we don't know about. So I'm not going to knock him off completely, but I think that if I run his brand, that's what I would do. Bring down the gross to like 300, right? And then figure out a way to put incentive bees that are high enough to compensate for it. Is Osimhen poor? No. If Osimhen earn what he currently earns to the duration of his contract and his career end like Eduardo da Silva, it will still be successful.
Most of his supporters wouldn't want him to bring down his wages from what we're seeing on social media. I mean, even Ide came out to say he can't believe that he put out a tweet that he can't believe that there's no top club in Europe that can pay him that amount of money for Victor Osimhen.
We should be asking ourselves is, why is it that all of a sudden, 2 years ago, Osimhen was the talk of the town. Everybody wants him. Last summer, everybody wants him. Why is it that now the trail is going cold and players are hitherto not on the front of the conversation? Your chorus have all of a sudden come to the front. Benjamin Sesko, 2 seasons ago, nobody was talking about him. Arsenal had the chance to sign him and they turned it down. Why is it not the guy that everybody's talking about? And as we go, some other players will also be rising. You understand? Some other players will be rising and they'll be the big one. If somebody had told you 6 months ago that Farasella will leave Napoli officially before Osimhen, will you agree?
No, it was always going to be Osimhen.
There is always a window. Life, like football, is a game of moments. You attack, you have your moment, you don't score. That counter-attack might be the one that they will use to score you. So it's a game of moment. It's had like 3 windows now that are in his moment. Summer, January, and summer, winter, and another summer now. Who's telling you that this conversation is going to continue? If he misses this window, next summer it will be 28.
It's a make or break window for Victor Osimhen. He has to make that move, but for him turning down Saudi Arabia, clearly it's not about money. Like you said, maybe some conversation is still going down behind the scene. But finally, on this Osimhen issue, I mean, some of his supporters are beginning to be vocal on social media, on Twitter and the likes. I mean, Odumodu, he's a rapper, put out a tweet calling out brands that he's disappointed in those brands that they've not got into Osimhen to give him deals. He went at some point to call out Barcelona as well, that Lewandowski is aging, Osimhen could be their go-to striker. So if you are Victor Osimhen and you see all of that, what would you advise Victor Osimhen to do in terms of all this? Because I mean, it might just be these people overdoing. It might not be in the knowledge of Victor Osimhen at the end of the day. But what do you make of all that?
I don't think it's in the knowledge of Victor Osimhen. Let's not paint the cat black to roast the cat. But me, I'm a student of pattern. I always study pattern. In my relationship with people, in my observation of the universe, I study pattern. And it is pattern that makes me judge people. Let's say, for instance, if you come to me today, say, let me relocate you to America. Nothing you give me will make me go. Because the pattern in America does not favor black people. And I'm not going to go there and my children are shot in a supermarket. There's Boko Haram here. I'm dealing with it, but I'm safe, right? That's pattern. Now, if you look at Osimhen have always thrown people who's got his back under the bus. That's a story. That's a fact. Not be this. And then they cook this one up. He's arrested his own sister and their husband. Where's Ariyo? Where's Shira? Where is Coach Chinedu? Where is his first agent, his second agent? All the people. He's thrown people under the bus. Omar was once upon a time the voice of Osimhen, the guy who covers Osimhen from end to end, let everybody know what's going on the inside. Where's the relationship today? You think all the people are bad, only Osimhen be sent. So when I see these people jumping off for Osimhen, they will soon be thrown under the bus. So I always tell myself that the principle, there's so many things people can talk about Larry Zamoji, but the principle that Larry Zamoji taught us that do not take anything from footballers. Footballers are like prostitutes. This is me saying it now. I played football before. When they help you today, they will use and cost you tomorrow. We saw when our sister to Shoala was taking on to their note about, now them they help her, now then they give her invite. That's kind of me at the quick reverse until they quick pay me. That's why I like being in my space. When I look at these footballers, there are some very good ones. The Odio Gallos of this one, the Kenneth Tomeros of this one, who were raised well by good parents and who behave well. John Ogu, even Brandy Day, you can't take those ones away. But the general behavior, that's what it is. I don't think that Osimhen will call these guys to say these things. But some of the people that are talking, it's like they don't even know what they are saying, or they don't even realize that some of the things that they are saying are destroying the player. Like Mikel Obi, for instance. that picked up a fight with Nicholas Jackson for no reason, just because he wants to sell Osimhen.
Yeah.
Ended up doing more damage to Osimhen because Chelsea priced him like pure water, and they stood by their Jackson. Now Odumodu Black has come again. Odumodu Black should have studied the tide. Nike sponsors Nigeria, give Nigeria the cheapest money that any brand is giving to any national team in the world. What make you think that same Nike would want to pick interest in a player that plays for Nigeria? That's one. Adidas was our sponsor when we won the Nations Cup in 2013, qualified for the World Cup in 2014. They abandoned us. They left us. We're at the verge of going to buy kits to wear for $425,000 to play qualifiers before the Nike deal came through the help of the US FA president Anamaju then. But the deal was a very slavery deal. My point is, what make you think this brand really wants you? Osimhen have 1.4 million followers on Twitter, which is a fantastic one. There is history of previous endorsement that is had that is not lived up to it. You see, the thing is, our players think that everybody should be worshipping them. If you're a journalist, you must worship them. You cannot talk about the bad that they've done. We've heard of deals that he did not meet up to. The thing about the business suit, the business circle, these guys meet in certain meetings. These guys meet in certain places, and they take decisions that affect all of us. A radio station, I left a radio station, and they wrote a letter to all the radio stations not to employ me. I didn't steal. I didn't sexually harass anybody. I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't have a bad record. And every other radio station agreed, not even considering the kind of value that I will bring to their platform. What if I didn't create my own platform? Maybe I've done the go do militancy for Niger Delta right now. So when you put all that together, you will notice that these companies do not have interest here. And then the small companies that are set up here, Owu Sports, Zenith Sports, cannot even lace the shoes of this guy. So your first question you ask is, how many billboard have you seen Osimhen's face in Nigeria, his own home country? That's where I start from. When you go to Dubai, as much as you will see the face of Pep Guardiola is more like the Sheikh of Abu Dhabi, right, of UAE. But you will also see their local players endorsed by some local brand like Ima and the rest of them. How many Nigerian products is using Osimhen as their face? Before Odumodu will call Barcelona out, call Nike, Adidas, Puma, and the rest out. Let's first talk about home front here. How many Nigerian products have done business with him? Sure, we saw the one Taiwo Awoniyi that's not even playing. The company did business with him.
It was Dettol.
Good money, Dettol. How many have done business with Osimhen? How damaged can Osimhen's brand be that none of these people want to? We've not seen Taiwo Awoniyi go to meet UBA chairman Elumelu. We've seen what's it called, Osimhen do that. There was a picture that was flying over the internet, and I said, oh, there is this one. I can't blame Osimhen, but if I have my way, I would have avoided it. Osimhen with Erdogan, the president of Turkey, a man who is regarded as funding terrorism. No facts to it. So it's American propaganda. I'm not calling him that he's funding, but it was that kind of picture that ended Mesut Ozil's career. So couldn't there be a way to avoid it? I know it's very hard, but couldn't there be a way to avoid it? That image will linger. You
wouldn't have put out that image, or that image would have been.
That image will linger for a very long time. If it was bad enough to end the career of a World Cup winner, one of the best midfielder in the world, could that not also, and then coming close to transfer window, could that not also affect this guy? Because every time you search him, you will see that image, and you associate him with a club who kind of like they don't pally with that guy. I don't know if, and this is me just thinking off the top of my head, I'm not saying anything, but I'm just thinking those are some little things, because sometimes in communication the things you say are not the one that matters. It's the non-verbal communication, the things you don't say that really matter. And in brand communication too, all of these things are put on a spreadsheet before decisions are made. A company is going to have a very big event at the hotel next week Friday, and they've called a lot of musicians. I'm involved in the process, so I know. And there's a particular musician, a very fantastic musician, suggested his bill is about 250 million to come and perform in the night. That's not a problem. The problem is everybody on the table said one thing about the musician. You can find one of Nigeria's finest. That if you give this guy money, he need to turn up, he need to respect contract, he might disappoint us. That was the consensus in like 4 meetings that I've attended. And that's already, the musician is not there. His manager is not there. His lawyers are not there. His agent, nobody is there. But these are the comments that is coming from the tables where his matter is being discussed. And then Flavor was mentioned, and the great guy, very nice guy, everything positive about him. Casey was mentioned, positive about him. Whiskey, the only thing they had to say about Whiskey was that, his price is very high. Can we meet this price? If we meet this price, we'd have gotten him. I'm just giving you an example. So in the rooms where Osimhen's name is being mentioned, are they saying, he's a nice guy, he's a great guy, he scores goals, but he's going to have value? Or are they saying, this guy is good, he scores goals, but like that musician, and his baggages and his problems and all these, we might not want it in our dressing room, and then this salary again is also a knockoff. What are they saying behind closed door when you're not in that room? Also matters a lot when it comes to transfers. We've worked together a lot, and we've had conversations. When I produced the league, I learnt from producing 13 games in the Nigerian league. I learnt more about Nigerian media than 13 years that I spent working in Brilla, ITV, and the small stint with Al Jazeera. What people say behind closed doors. Because the people I'm producing the game for always send me message what my colleagues are sending. Yeah, and some of them you saw.
Yeah.
So who is speaking behind closed doors for you? It's not like we didn't do a good job. We did a perfect job. Some people who just do not want Nigerian league to accelerate that fast didn't like it, because once it happens, their job will be on the line. Their mediocrity, their comfort zone mediocrity will be on the line. That happened.
Well, producer's already giving us time to run that. But we wish not for you that is listening. I mean, we wish Osimhen the very best. If he makes that move, we'll also be here to analyze the possibilities of the move working out and maybe not working out. But don't get it twisted. We are Nigerians. He's our marksman. He's our top striker.
Yeah, he's our number one.
We want Osimhen. We want the very best for Osimhen, and we hope that move eventually comes as the transfer window continues till the very end,
the move comes
ahead of next season.
I don't want him to
not
continue
just
this
move,
kind of football
a good move,
in Turkey.
A better move. I mean, he's definitely.
I'm seeing him in Champions League. I want to be seeing him in Champions League.
It's definitely shown he's better than Turkey, so we hope that maybe he's going to move to a better league. We hear a team in Serie A.
Turkish people might not give me a U visa anymore.
I mean, the Turkish people are trying to, blackmail him with the emotions, the love they've shown recently. I mean, I was reading some comments that they were, after all the love he showed, you won't give us some money.
Him more than
he
that.
won't give us some money, stuff like that.
Napoli loved him more than that. Now loan he come, the loan that's by I'm gonna
let them allow him to go. But
I borrow you place to take go do wedding now. Don't become your own.
Well, the transfer window is still open. Victor Osimhen, we hope you make the best of moves as you continue in your career. Thank you very much.
You are listening to Elegbete TV Radio.